Fuck you, back at it today. It's March 12th, 2024. We got one hell of a slate on tonight. 20 teams in action on this Tuesday night. We also got the max bet of the week, so make sure you get your ass over to whylose.com. Grab one of Les's packages. He's our NHL handicapper, and he is fucking dialed in for tonight. Les, you were chopping at the bit. Hit me up real early this morning. Really liking some games tonight. How you doing today, brother?
I'm doing better than you, Bernsey, and I'll tell you what, we're going to have to, unfortunately, release you from the team, okay? Your piss poor effort last night, 0-5. Everybody hear that? 0-5. You were on your fucking picks last night. That is not acceptable here. If I was the boss, I'd fucking shit can you right now. But lucky for you, I'm not. So good to have you back, buddy.
That's why we got the all black on, man. You know, it's for my memorial. It's for the memorial of the Devils, NJD. Ain't got to know more.
We did attend the funeral this afternoon of the Devils, and you know it's exactly what we expected: quietness and a whole lot of Devil fans with their foot in their mouth that kind of look like you. But hey, nonetheless, let's get into a couple things last night that I want to talk about. One, Matt Rimpey. Okay, I liked him, Bernsey. I liked him. I liked what he brought to the game. You know, that old time hockey, banging bodies, scoring goals, fighting the tough guys. You know, that's all good until you go and do something fucking stupid like that last night. Like, he missed him. You missed him. You chicken winged him. You caught him in the fucking head. There's no place for that. I don't care if you're 6'7" or 5'7". You do that to a guy, you deserve a suspension. And the worst part of it all, you'll fucking skate out of your rink, wave. Who the fuck are you waving to? You just fucking possibly gave this guy a concussion, maybe broke his fucking face. I don't know. What are you proud of right now? A dirty hit? Like, that was complete bullshit. He deserves at least 3 games. I know he's got a hearing coming up on the phone, so I'm not expecting it to be a 5 or more if it's a phone hearing, but that's just fucking bullshit. And I'm really disappointed with him. And, you know, these teams face each other again soon, I think.
And only one thing on our minds.
Oh, yeah. Just put him out, line one, you know, start him at the game, put McDermott out there, get it out of the way.
And it wasn't like McDermott wasn't chasing around all game. He asked him to go 2 different times, and Rempe's like, no, I don't want to fight. And then you're going to have a flying fucking elbow from the top rope, hit Siegenthaler right in the jaw, and you're not going to answer the fucking bell? Right? Like, this was supposed to be, the return of old school hockey. We finally got fighting back. Make fighting better again, you know? And then you're just going to fucking puss out like this. Total puss move, dude.
It's too bad because everybody wants this physical hockey, the fights and stuff. You know, it kind of has been phased out over the years, and the NHL wants that. They want it out of the game. So when it does happen, it's good because it's good for the viewership. It's good for television. It's good for the fans. But then you get something like this happens, and it's like, oh, well, you just made progress into bringing the game to be tough again, and then you go do something stupid like that. You know, just gives the NHL more of a reason to eliminate fighting out of the game altogether. I don't think it'll ever happen, but that conversation has happened a few times. So, you know, and if you want to take somebody's head off, the minute that you do that, your glove should already be off the ice because you know someone's going to come for you, and they should. And, you know, I get it. McDermott kind of got tied up with the linesman and stuff. But, you know, then the part that bugs me, Bernsey, I'm fucking kind of pissed off about it, is the fucking wave. Like, what are you waving for? You haven't even been in the league long enough for a diaper change yet, and you're waving to who? To who? You're in your own fucking rink.
It's a cocky young kid, man, you know, but he should have found out how this fucking shit works last night, but he didn't want to fucking answer the bell. You're telling me he couldn't get away from that linesman? Bull fucking shit. He didn't want the fucking smoke. He knows he fucked up, but now he's going to have a different kind of target on his back moving forward.
He has to have a target on his back because nobody wants to lose their career because of a fucking meathead like that doing shit like that. And I'm all for the big hits and, you know, a good tilt now and then. And you look at all the tough guys in the league that he's fought already, they kind of respect him. You know, Ryan Reeves went out of his way and said, this guy's going to be a fucking menace. And you know what the real thing is? Rempe's not even a fighter by trade. Like he's actually a decent hockey player, but he understands that his role with the New York Rangers could be that role. And that's fine. But Rempe doesn't want to fight every game either. Like he wants to play hockey, but he's also understanding that this just might be the way he keeps in the show. But I mean, you represent the New York Rangers organization, and when you do cocky shit like that, like I get it, you threw a dirty hit, you know you're in trouble, go to the fucking box, leave the ice, put your tail between your legs and get the fuck out of here, because nobody wants that. So to do shit like that, that's going to piss off a lot of teams and a lot of tough guys on the teams. And if he doesn't get fought every single game for the next 5 games, once he gets back from whoever it is, the tough guy on the opponent is, to send a message to this guy, I don't know, man. It's just not right.
Listen, that wasn't, the only surprising thing for me last night. I mean, obviously my Devils got fucking shit pumped. I had a Panarin goal for 1 second, got called back on an offsides, lost that guy. The Isles get fucking blanked by LA, your big money line spot last night. I thought for sure the big three were going to get on the board. Nobody got on the fucking board. And then what the fuck happened in Boston, dude? St. Louis just fucking rolled them over.
Honestly, Boston has done this a few times over the course of the year at home.
They need to knock it off.
Yeah, if they want to go deep in the playoffs, or maybe they're looking at another early exit back-to-back years. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I mean, I kind of want to blame goaltending a little bit. St. Louis only had 22 fucking shots. So he had 17 saves. Like that's not going to cut it. And this has happened with him a few times now, where Swayman's given up a lot of goals on some fairly low quality scoring chances. He should have had a couple of them. I didn't watch the whole game, but he definitely should have had them. And, you got Joel Hofer on the other side, Hofer, whatever, coming in to give Binnington a night off. He had a good game. He had 36 saves. You got to give St. Louis a little bit of credit. The goaltending department, kept them in, and just poor goaltending and a poor effort on Boston's side to let that one get away.
Well, speaking of poor efforts, you had the foresight to anticipate a poor effort from Washington with the amount of shots that they were going to have on Connor Hellebuyck. You had him at under 25.5 saves. Washington gets the 3-0 waxing against Winnipeg. Good on you for that guy right there.
That was the biggest bet on the card, and I really liked it. I didn't expect a shutout, to be honest. I was getting a little concerned because I figured the way I had it in my head was that there would be about 26 shots coming from Washington based on their history in their last 10 games and head-to-head with Winnipeg. And that number was getting closer, and the goose egg was still up. I'm like, holy man, he could put that 25, 26 save shutout, which, could fuck my card. But luckily it didn't. We read it right. We got it right. So we're moving on to a max bet spot tonight, Burnsy.
All right. Well, let's get to the games that we're featuring tonight. Like I said, we have 10 games on the slate. Like always, we're going to feature 3 of them here. We're going to start in Buffalo. We got the Reeling Wings coming in at plus 105, Buffalo minus 125, over under here set at 6.5. Detroit woke up yesterday and found themselves outside of a playoff spot, man. I mean, we talked about the Isles on a 6-game heater. They jumped over them. I mean, Detroit has not looked great. They went on a 5-game winning streak, and then they just lost to Larkin 5 games ago and haven't won fucking since, man. These two teams head to head, they see each other a lot. They're 5-5. Detroit won the last meeting 5-3 this year. But before that, Buffalo, won the previous 5, crushing the over on all of them. Let's start with the Wings, brother. What do you see going on in Detroit?
I see a lot of problems in between the pipes. And we talked about this a couple weeks ago, and finally management listened to me and rested Lyon for that game. They knew they had a couple days off, so they put Reimer in against what was it, Vegas, and he didn't have a great game, but it wasn't just on him. That whole Detroit team's been kind of struggling a little bit. So now we got Lyon. He's got 4 days rest now, and I think that's exactly what he needed. He's never played so many games. We've talked about this. So, it's going to be tough to fade Detroit in this spot. They're actually underdogs, believe it or not, Birdsy. Like, Detroit's in a playoff spot, and they're underdogs against a Buffalo team that has been okay, but they've lost 3 of 4. So I kind of scratching my head. I'm not sure what I'm missing here outside the fact that Detroit's letting in more goals than they ever have this year. So it's kind of an interesting one. UPL is probably going to be, I think he's supposed to start. He's been quite good lately, but even he's been, he's starting to not be as sharp. I mean, he's still only letting in 2-3 goals a game, which is pretty good in this league. So, you got to give Buffalo a little bit of respect. But if I'm Detroit, I don't know how you not get up for this. Okay, you bounced out of a playoff spot last night. Now you're back in it because the Islanders shit the bed on the West Coast because of the head-to-head or however that differential is made up. So this is your chance to pull away a little bit because Detroit's got a pretty favorable schedule coming up, and then they face the Islanders in I think 4 or 5 games, like a big 4-point game for Detroit. So why? These are games that need to be won if you want to make the playoffs.
Listen, we talked about the goaltending, over the last 5, Reimer and Lyon have led up 3.8 goals against, 8.65. It's not just the goaltending that's been fucking Detroit here. I mean, you gave up 39 shots to Vegas, right? You gave up 45 shots to Colorado. I mean, Lyon got pulled after 5 in that game. But I mean, like we've talked about Detroit being fucking weird, like they don't spend any time in the ozone, but somehow they win games and score some goals, right? They have like this just an analytics anomaly. But at the end of the day, Buffalo doesn't know how to fucking score, dude. They've been playing very well defense. They got a real strong back end. You talked about UPL. He's playing out of his fucking mind. I would love for him to be on my team. But Buffalo, they got rid of Okposo. They got rid of Middlestat. Tage Thompson's a little banged up here. I mean, I think he'll get the go, but he is listed day to day. I mean, one tendency I have researched and saw is that Detroit does have a tendency of jumping out early. Over the last 10 games, they jumped out to 1.1 goals in the first period. Buffalo only 0.7. They're a little bit more of a third period game where they're averaging 1 goal per. I'm with you, man. I don't know how. I mean, like, I guess I know how Detroit is an underdog here. I mean, when you get fucking blown up the way that they lost 4-0 at fucking Arizona, dude. So yeah, you probably don't deserve to be the favorite here, but I'm big on getting up for a fucking game, right? Like they got to bring the fucking noise tonight.
They do. And I think we might see the rise of Patrick Kane tonight. Okay. If we're looking at a prop bet, I'm liking the over 0.5 point. It's not a super great juice number on it, but he's got to get going. And, Larkin's going to be out for a little while. They need to find ways to win without him. They haven't had a great record. I think they're 2-6 or something without Larkin. So you need the other guys to step up and pick up some slack here. You got to start scoring some goals. So I really like Patty Kane because I think he's gone 4 or 5 games without a point now.
He's been sleepy, man.
He's been a little bit quiet. He went and he's very, he's always been a little bit of a streaky player. When he gets hot and he runs with it. But the last 4 games there, he hasn't registered a point. So I'm be laying a little bit of money on Patrick Kane to get on the scoreboard.
Listen, Detroit's power play has been at 21% the last 10 games. Buffalo's penalty kill, 71%. So that definitely gives Kane some opportunities there. I don't see. I mean, we talked about UPL. I mean, that's really, he's going to make or break this thing, right? I mean, since the All-Star break, I mean, he's had a 2.10 goals against and a 9.24. I mean, he's just been playing out of his fucking mind. And for a Detroit team that's reeling, this really is a nice get right spot with a soft schedule walking in front of you until they finally see the Islanders with a head to head here. So this is, I'm going to label this as a must win game for Detroit.
Yeah. You know what? I don't disagree with that. I mean, from a record point, these teams have kind of got similar records with respect to where they're playing. You know what the crazy part is though? Is Detroit only has 3 more wins than Buffalo. How does that even make sense? That's how close it is on that side of this of the standings. Detroit's won 33 games. Buffalo's won 30.
The East is crazy, man. The East is crazy. You said it yesterday about a logjam.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know if you're a Detroit player and you can't get up for this game, well, just pack your shit and go fucking golfing right now because every game is a must win now. And you got to look at this as like a play-in tournament. You're in a play-in tournament right now, and that's how these teams need to be treating this. Okay, look at fuck the last 62 games. We got 20 games left. We need to win 12 of them. 13 of them, whatever that number is, depending on the team, to get to the show, to get to the dance. So let's focus on that and not what's behind us. Let's cut the cord, leave that 5-game losing streak behind us. Let's treat this as a whole nother season, and we're chasing a playoff berth. So if they can't get up for this one, Burnsy, you're done. Forget
You're done, son. Well, one game I'm definitely getting up for. We got Colorado and Alberta taking on the Flames here. Colorado's coming in as a road favorite at minus 180. The Flames are plus 150, over under 6.5 here. I mean, Colorado has just been on an absolute fucking tear, dude. They're 7-2-1, winners of 3 straight, 5 of 6. They own the head-to-head here against Calgary. 7-3. They've taken the last 4. The Avs goaltending has just been red fucking hot, dude. 1.4 goals against and a 9.56 in the last 5. I know that 2 of those games are against 2 shutouts against Chicago. So those numbers are a little floated, but I mean, you can't take credit away from a shutout. Shutout's a shutout. But I mean, what Colorado does concern me in certain ways, right? Like, we understand that Nate Dogg is a fucking phenom, right? And he's got a 12-game point streak, and 9 of those games have been multiple points, right? So, I mean, we start calling it the Nate Dogg parlay, ATG, grab an assist, top it off with, over 1.5 points, that's cashed 9 fucking times. They have this crazy home streak, right? When Nate's got a 30-game home streak, but they're not at home tonight, man. And their road record isn't great.
No, so okay, we'll get to the road record in a second here, but one thing I want to point out is there's some stuff going on in that room right now, Burnsy, with the Avs. Like, Lekkonen's out tonight. Ross Colton and Jack Johnson are out dealing with a bug. That's what they call it. They're calling it a bug. Zach Parise is also questionable with the LBI. So they just went out and they got the guy from Buffalo there. I'm drawing a blank.
DC Middlestat.
Yeah, they just got him. He's going to take a little bit of time to find his place in this lineup.
He's a good player.
He's a great player. I think he's great. I think he has a lot of opportunity to excel with the right recipe. Now, the problem is Colorado hasn't had time to build that recipe around him. Wherever that role is for him, whether it's on the second line or third line or whatever. But one thing that has to be considered from a handicapper spot, because at the end of the day, this is about making money. This show's about giving people the resources to make money. Colorado's 14-19 on the road. And I'm including the overtime losses because whether you fucking bet Colorado money line and overtime loss is a loss and you're not going to the window to pick up your check. Okay, so I do consider that. Compared to Calgary, they're 16-15 at home, which is kind of the same. So to give Colorado a minus 175, maybe if they're at home, what would the line be if Colorado was at home? Fucking 300? Like, it doesn't make sense.
If this is at 160, then it'd have to be 300.
So for me, I'm giving this free bet away, and I might kick myself because this should probably go on the card for the paying subscribers, but it makes absolutely no sense why you wouldn't take Calgary plus 1.5 at minus 165. You're getting a goal to start the game, and you have better odds than taking Colorado straight. Now, I know Markstrom is kind of had a little bit of a chip on his shoulder over the whole trade thing and whatever. He kind of, that news went public, and it should have stayed behind, the Calgary locker room. And ever since then, he kind of hasn't been himself. But at the same time, Calgary is still in a playoff hunt, whether we like it or not. They're still very much capable of getting to the dance. So I don't understand how these lines here. Maybe I'm missing something, but with some injuries and some sicknesses going on in the Colorado room, those are guys that aren't playing. Never mind anybody else in that room that isn't feeling 100%. McKinnon is a beast at home, but he isn't that same beast on the road as he's shown this year. I mean, the guy's still an animal, but you need more than him. And Calgary can check him. They can check him. They're very high pressure on the penalty kill. They got to very much chase and check hard. And then if they totally get set up, we'll respect that space. That's the one really nice thing with Calgary. So I can see Calgary keeping this one tight. Plus 1.5 at minus 165 seems to me it's a no-brainer. given the fact that Colorado on the money line is minus 175.
Listen, I mean, before the big sell-off of the trading deadline, I mean, Colorado or Calgary, excuse me, was 5-1. They beat Tampa 6-3. I mean, they lost the last two, but they lost to Florida and Carolina. Like two of the top teams in the NHL. I think they're coming home to play spoilers here, man. I'll tell you one thing that Calgary can absolutely fucking do is they can put the puck in the net. In the last 3 games, they averaged 3.4 goals a game, or the last 10 games, 3.4 goals a game. And if you want to take a walk down the metrics road, I mean, I've been reading a lot of places that like Colorado, as awesome as they're playing, they're putting up numbers here that are just not sustainable. So a lot of places are calling for, a correction. And just like we were talking about in Boston, right? Like, oh, when are they going to get corrected, right? Because they have to get corrected. Vegas, when are they going to get corrected? Because they have to get corrected. On the other side, Colorado is going to get corrected. It's all a matter of when. I mean, their 5-on-5 play for the season, they average for the season, their shooting percentage is 9.4, right? Over the last 10 games, it's 11.2. Their save percentage, over the year is 91.4, and over the last 10 stretch, almost 96 fucking percent. I mean, that's pretty fucking hot, man. I don't think there's a single team in NHL history that can sustain numbers like that, with 18 games left and then walk into the playoffs. So, I mean, like, I think we saw this in Tampa Bay a couple of years ago where they were number 1 team overall and they got fucking walked in the first round. I mean, that could be if they don't cool down now. So it's almost in
Boston.
Colorado's benefit.
Too.
It's
right?
Almost in their benefit to like, all right, guys, we got to fucking chill out and get back down to earth here so we don't lose it in the fucking playoffs.
We got breaking news, Bernsey.
What do you got? What's coming across the wire?
Matt Rimpe suspended how many?
5 games.
5 games for a first offender?
He's got game misconducts every single fucking game for the last 3 in a row.
All right, you're close. 4. You got 4 games.
Still above average. 3's the
I
average.
thought he was only going to get 3. I was gonna check the lines this morning.
It was the wave. The wave got him the extra one.
The wave got the extra one,
yep.
and rightfully so. I would have fucking given him more than that.
Other
interesting date I wanted to. Do you know what the anniversary is today?
No, what is it? It's not mine, right? Am I in trouble?
Yeah. Happy anniversary, birthday. Today is the day, I believe it was 4 years ago, COVID shut the NHL down.
Oh, shit. Right before St. Patty's.
Today is the day. So kind of a weird one to think how far we've come in those 4 years. We expected it to be 6 weeks and it ended up being fucking 3 years or whatever of shenanigans. Anyway, I just thought I'd mention that. I thought that was kind of a neat little this day in history.
Yeah, one of the worst fucking days in history. That was
no kidding. Yeah. It was last night was the NBA. It was the when the ABA was, because the NHL was the next day.
I remember that shit.
Anyways, moving on.
All right, moving on to Dallas. We got a potential Stanley Cup preview here. We got the Panthers and the Stars going against each other. Pretty much a pick 'em here. Last I looked, Florida was minus 105, Dallas minus 115, over under 6 on the nose. I mean, listen, man, in my opinion, Florida's the best team in the league, right? My power rankings, they are number 1. They've won 17 of their last 20, and one word above all jumps out to me over everything else, and it's Bob. Bob has just been out of his fucking mind. Do you remember a couple of years ago when they were like, they gave him this monster fucking bag, and they're like, oh, this fucking guy, he's all washed up, he's fucking garbage. And then he went on last year's playoff run, and he hasn't turned back since, man. Bobo is 31-12-2 with a 2.29 goals against, 918 on the year. In the last 12 starts, he hasn't let in more than 2 goals. He's been 10-2 with a 1.57 goals against, man. I mean, Bobo is something else, man. And this Florida team, I mean, it's not just him. They're one of the best two-way teams in the league here. What do you see going on the ice in Dallas?
It's going to be a good game. I mean, you said it. This could be a Stanley Cup Finals. It's not the Stanley Cup Finals that I see. I got my own little sorcery going on my side, which we'll share once we're a little closer to that time. But it's definitely possible. And when you get to that postseason, you just don't know, right? With that being said, though, is one thing that Dallas has done really, really well over their last, because they're on a heater right now. They've won what, 5 in a row? Yeah, they've won 5 in a row
6-3-1
now.
over the last 10. Yep.
Yeah, and a lot of that they had a little slip up for a week or two, which is expected. But then they totally righted the ship. I mean, you look at the teams they played. They beat San Jose twice. I mean, well, that one they almost fucking lost. But and then they had Anaheim, the couple nights later. So not the greatest stick to measure up. And it's tough when you play teams like that. And then it's like, okay, now you're playing Florida.
But teams like that, right? When you do go on a skid, and back to like kind of like our Detroit point, like when you play teams like that, when you're in a little bit of a skid, you got to win those fucking games.
100%. And they did. But my point is you played fucking three games that were against pretty shitty teams, and now you got to take on the Cats. And the Cats, like you said, they're the best team in the NHL. I agree with that tenfold. I don't know if they're going to be able to stretch that into the postseason, but tonight I can see Florida coming in here and maybe taking one on the road here. The one thing that Dallas has done really well is they don't give up a ton of shots. They've only given up 30 shots once in the last 10 games. And out of those 10 games, they lost 4 of them. And you're still only giving up less than 30 shots. So, that's a really big positive compared to Florida, that they give up, they give up 35 one game, 26 the next, 31, 30, 24. They're a lot more sporadic versus Dallas, 25, 27, 20, 23, 26, 27. Like when you give up that little shots, it really keeps the opportunity to let goals in lower. And Florida's as good as anybody at getting the puck to the net. They get a lot of shots. So it's kind of interesting spot where Dallas doesn't give up a lot of shots, but Florida gets a lot of shots. And I think getting a lot of shots trumps the other 10 out of 10 times. So I'm really liking Florida on the road here. I think you're muted there, Birdsy. Fucking rook.
Fucking deck to the mindsies. To that point, I mean, Ottinger's been a little shaky lately. Yeah, he owns a 6-2-2 record, but he's given up, like you said, hasn't faced a ton of shots, right? And if you don't face a ton of shots and you give up some goals, what's that going to fuck up? It's going to fuck up your goals against. And he's holding on to a 3.1 goals against over the last 10 games, right? An 8.74 save percentage. He gave up 6 fucking goals to the Sharks, dude. In our underdog bet of the night, that they almost, if they just could hold on, almost fucking had big money on them.
When you looked at me like I had 3 fucking heads when I told you we were taking San Jose plus 1.5. You lost your mind. I'm like, don't worry, just let it do its thing.
It was the first San Jose game I watched all year. But I mean,
I didn't even watch
it. But I mean, he's supposed to be what, top 3 goalies in the league, and I understand people got to get corrected and it takes a little bit of time, but he has not been strong. And Carol and Florida has been fucking rolling on all cylinders. So it'll be interesting to see, what kind of Jake we get tonight.
Honestly, Jake, he is, I hate to knock the guy, but he's overrated. He is a little bit overrated when you have that team in front of you. His save percentage is only 900. That's technically below the NHL average. So who the fuck is saying that he's one of the greatest to play in the league right now? He has his moments where he shines for an extended period of time like anybody else. But I don't think he's even in the conversation for one of the best goalies in the league right now. With those numbers, it's just not there. When you look at some of the other guys like Hellebuck, even Saros, those guys are legitimate contenders to being the best goal. Bobrovsky, it's just there's a lot of guys that are better than him. So the fact that Dallas gets a lot more credit for Audie than probably he deserves. And I mean, that's just my opinion. I'm a stats guy. I'm a numbers guy. That's what I've come up with. And I think he's going to really be exposed tonight against this Florida offense.
I mean, Florida fucking exposes anybody, dude. They're just such a well-oiled machine. A couple lines on the prop side. You got to keep an eye on Jason Robertson. He's leading the Stars right now in points. He's got 65 points on the year. He's riding a 6-game point streak. He's sitting at a plus 205 anytime goal. Have you heard about this kid? This little small bastard, Logan Stankoven.
Yes.
He's some 5'8" fucking kid who really plays the right way, man. He forechecks, he back checks, he fights for pucks in front of the net. I mean, this kid's been up for, I think he's up for 8 games. 8 games. He's got 8 points.
Yeah.
He's got 5 goals.
I think in the AHL, he was averaging over a point a game. I forget his stats, but it was really impressive. It's safe to say that he's going to be with this team indefinitely.
He has earned a fucking spot, man, and his prop lines are pretty fucking juicy. I mean, he's getting power play time too, and over half a point. He's sitting at plus 135, ATG plus 300. I think he's going to be my little underdog. He'll be my little toy tonight.
Why not? Why not? You went 0 for 5 last night. You want to go back to back?
You fucking dick, dude.
But that's why people rely on me for the picks and not you, but it's still fun to do.
That's why I'm just a fucking goon.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I agree with you. At the end of the day, all signs do point to Florida. Hopefully that doesn't fucking jinx you because I'm a fucking mush. But all right, guys. Thanks for tuning in again over here at Puck U. Make sure you get your ass over to whylose.com. Grab a package from Les. We got free picks dropping all the time. Follow us on Telegram, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, X, whatever you want to fucking call it. Les has his eye on a real big moneymaker tonight. Les, what are you looking at tonight, bud?
Well, I can't tell you, but if you pay the $50, it's all yours. It's all yours, man. All kidding aside, it's not every day that we see a spot where there's a big opportunity where the numbers are in our favor. I mean, it's a max bet. There's no such thing as a guaranteed bet. Otherwise, we'd all be fucking zillionaires, and this wouldn't even be a podcast where we talk about this shit. So, still bet within your means, even though it is a max bet spot. I think I'm 72 or almost 73% on max bets this year, which is really good from a capping perspective. So I like to believe that, I see these spots properly and not overforce them, because it's not every night that this lands on the card. So I really like it tonight, obviously, to be telling everybody this is a max bet spot. So you want in on it, it's $49, $99 for the week, $2.99 for the month. Good time to get on it and start making some money.
All right, guys. We'll catch you all back here tomorrow. Hope you all stay well. We'll see you soon.